Hello and welcome to Halcyon. This week I'm going to be talking about a game that has its roots embedded in one of the most culturally impactful television shows of all time. South Park: The Stick of Truth is the brainchild of Trey Parker and Matt Stone when they decided that on the next project that they wanted to get involved with, to become more involved with the overall process of managing, developing and designing and creating the game. In the past, South Park games have been somewhat lackluster in their attempts to be kind of gimmicky in the way that they applied the characters in the world. On this occasion, however, the overall idea was based around what if the show was interactive? How could we make players feel like part of the world?
Dude, that was awesome! You were all like, beam, and Cloud was all like, nah. Okay, you proved yourself worthy, douchebag. Now come inside the war tent and I shall let you see the relic.
I've been a fan of the series since I was way too young to watch it. I first caught the movie when it came out. I remember distinctly my father having the DVD and telling me, you're not watching it. I found it and I watched it. And I was one of those kids in the film that thought swearing was the fucking coolest thing ever.
It's horrible. You don't understand. The elves, they took the stick! And it's bullshit because that is totally cheating. We specifically said no trying to take the stick at night. Elves are dirty little liars and we have to lay waste to their entire base. You have some incredible ability to make friends quickly, Sir Douchebag. I'm sending you on a quest to go out into the lands of Zaron and recruit a whole nother faction to Koopa Keep. Find the goth kids and give them this letter. Get them to join our kingdom and we shall lay waste to the drow elves once and for all! Fucking cheaters.
However, my love of the show deepened when I got into more of the series and more of the intellectual aspect, whereby the show would present interesting ideas to you that perhaps you hadn't been confronted with previously and asked that you take it on board and laugh along with them. However, some of my funniest moments and some of my personal favourite moments are just the stupid nature of some of the jokes. The Canadians in particular slay me.
But I warn you, the wilderness of Canada is filled with dire wolves. You know what dire wolves are, right? They're like wolves, but they're dire.
And so does Timmy. Oh my days, has a character ever just said his own name and made people laugh so much? I have no idea, and if there is someone that's done that more than Timmy, I need to see it immediately. From Cartman's nihilistic and unbelievably offensive attitude towards everything, turning everything from a profit, even when you think he's being courageous and charismatic in a good way, by the end of the episode he will flip the script on you and make you wonder why you have any faith in humanity whatsoever.
There's only one Grand Wizard of the KKK.
To some of the other slightly more brazen characters like Kenny and Stan and Kyle, who have slightly less offensive characters but have their own quirks and charms, to say the least. The movie was successful, the writers are still as impassioned as ever to make their voices heard when it comes to the stories of the day. South Park is synonymous with witty humour, toilet humour, although with sophisticated undertones that point to more adult themes of presenting two cases. Here's what these people think, here's what these people think, what do you think? However, this is sometimes lost on the casual viewer when they see some of the more risque comedy. I, for one, love South Park. I think it differs from Family Guy in the sense that Family Guy is set out to simply offend people sometimes. South Park will offend you if you're a decent human being, but if you look a little bit deeper, they have an interesting narrative that they're trying to present to you. And the game, in a weird sense, tries to step back from that in presenting to you a interesting gaming experience.
Princess Kenny, how badly did they rape you? I can't get through. The door appears to be enchanted, so I can't turn the knob. You can't hold the doorknob, Bard. That's cheating. Yeah, I can. I have the Stick of Truth, which means I control the universe, and I say holding the doorknob is okay. Ah! Can he do that? He has the Stick of Truth. He can do what he wants. Damn it! There's got to be another way into this room.
Gone are the aspects of the show where there's an overarching point that the show starts with, under certain naive and understated circumstances blowing to magnificently epic proportions towards the latter part of the episode. This game sets out to simply present a good gaming set piece that players can sit, immerse themselves with, and add a bit of themselves to the game. And that's this game's biggest strong point, which I'll go into a little bit later on. So, on this episode, let's take a look at something that if you're easily offended by, or just a decent human being, you may want to give it a pass. However, if you're a South Park fan, or you're a fan of very clever, if not, again, risque comedy, then you owe it to yourself to at least check out. Let's take a look. South Park, The Stick of Truth.
The Stick of Truth. Just 2 days ago, we took the stick back from the elves. Our kingdom was dying, but now it thrives. For whoever controls the stick controls the universe. Don't gaze at it too long, for its power is too much for mere mortals to look at.
So let's start with the gameplay. The controls are simplistic, but functional. As you traverse through its world, you literally look like you're playing an interactive version of the show. It's really impressive how, even though the show's design is relatively simple, and crappy looking in the words of the creators, it's interesting to see that more often than not, you'll be playing through the world and you will almost lose track of the fact that you're actually playing this game. You can interact with virtually every single character in the world, NPC or character-driven alike. There's tons to shoot, to hit. It's a classic RPG. Shoot and hit as much stuff as you can possibly get your hands on to obtain loot, and more importantly, to level up.
Gentlemen, thanks to the new kid, our entire army is assembled. It is my belief that the new kid deserves to rank up in level. To honor his efforts, he will no longer be called douchebag. New kid, I hereby dub thee Sir Douchebag. Congratulations.
New kid, I'm sorry I ever doubted you. I hereby make you a member of the Drow Elves of the Forest. Yay! New kid, you have our friendship. I hereby level you up to the rank of Commander.
The combat in the game is probably one of my biggest sticking points of the game. I actually really enjoyed it once you get the hang of it. Basically a turn-based combat system whereby you and potentially a partner, a game character, will line up against a series of enemies or a boss. The idea is that you then take turns in a strategy-based combat system to knock them out. You have certain amounts of turns using certain items. So for instance, you can use a melee attack and a magic attack along with an item. So potentially you have 3 moves with each character on your side before the other team has an opportunity to respond. So you can usually use this to your advantage by using power-ups and buffs such as speed-ups and attack-ups to make sure that you can capitalize on your return every single time you get a chance. The flip side to this is though that the enemies have the same thing, and when you're outnumbered it can be sometimes very, very brutal in order to be able to defend yourselves. But you can defend yourself by pressing, in this case the Xbox 360 version, the A button in order to defend, which will nullify the attack to a certain degree. However, some of the bosses have attacks that you cannot block and attacks and effects that will subvert any ability to block. So you can make people vomit and sick, which will negate your ability to be able to use power-ups. You can make them bleed, which has a cumulative effect, multiplying effect if you continue to use that same tactic. So on the bigger bosses, that can be quite strategically advantageous because it's the percentage, not the amount that you hit by.
I'm gonna kick your ass. Clyde, you have to wait your turn. That's lame. No, Clyde, it's like olden times. You have to wait your turn. Like in the Middle Ages, Clyde. I know it's lame, Clyde, but that's how we're fucking doing it. Alright, douchebag, bash Clyde's face in. Don't be shy. That all you got? Oh my god, it's butters all over again. Okay, look, try putting your back into it at the last possible moment.
The associated or accompanying characters also play a big part, with varying degrees of success. I personally found myself using Butters, not only because I love Butters to death, he's the cutest and most amazing character I've ever had the pleasure of observing, but some of his attack movesets are so much more devastating and useful than other characters, let's say Stan Marsh. Over the course of the entirety of the game, yes, of course, other players can have other characters can have better inputs, but the fact remains that Butters is the most powerful, especially his Professor Chaos ability, which is not only really powerful, ridiculously powerful, but really entertaining for those of us who saw Fun with Weapons, the episode, which was one of my favourite animatic style episodes ever.
Fun, you wanna throw down, bro?
In terms of the RPG elements of the game, which this game is based predominantly around the idea of that this is a role-playing game of sorts, you are the new kid. You have the ability to dress, to conduct yourself, to arm yourself, and to guide your skill tree however you want it to. The skill tree was based on two things: leveling up, which will allow you to improve or unlock other abilities while in combat, and Facebook friends. So as you traverse through the world, you'll be able to collect friends on Facebook. The more friends you collect, the more perks you can unlock, and these perks can range from nullifying attack damage to increasing your ability to perform magic, things of that nature. I think the most important aspect of that is that it encourages traversing the world and exploring. The more you explore, the more you come across in terms of power-ups and the ability to gain XP through combat. It's a really clever way of trying to ask the player to explore, because you never know what you're going to find. And add into this the progression of the combat, so you become progressively more powerful throughout the course of the game, with the addition of, well, let's just say that you learn how to fart.
Getting into trouble is a risk that Douchebag is willing to take. You have to break out our thief, Douchebag. But don't worry, I will not let you go unprepared. I'm going to teach you how to use magic. Meet me at the training barracks. It's time for you to learn Dragon Shout. You fight well, Douchebag, but to truly succeed in combat, you must learn to harness the power of your farts. Farting on an opponent at precisely the right time is key to battle. I shall show you how it's done, but first, you must take the gentleman's oath. You must promise to never, ever fart on anyone's balls, okay? Farting on an opponent is necessary, but farting on someone's balls is not cool. Do you understand? All right, then let's begin your training. To conjure Dragon Shout, you must first clear your mind and take in a deep breath through your butthole. Like so. Huh? Then, let it rumble inside you, and Dragon Shout!
You learn how to control different types of farts throughout the game, and you'll find different teachers as you do so. So you'll range from Randy.
Help me with that and I'll help you with this. I saw you on the ship. You have pretty good control over your farts. Meet me in the bathroom. It's time for you to learn some real power. I can tell you have potential, but you are undisciplined. Let me show you what I mean. Come at me. Try and fart on me. Come on. Hey, did you guys hear that? Sounded like a chipmunk. And no matter what happens, never fart on anyone's balls. You got that? All right. Now go.
Cartman.
Hey, Malkinson! Malkinson, could you come help us with something? Shh, don't touch it, it's gonna be sweet.
Yes?
Hey, Scott, could you spar with Douchebag real quick? He's gonna try a new move.
On guard!
Now, Douchebag, come a spell! Dude, that was sweet! You threw that shit right in Scott's face! Alright, Scott, go back to your post. Thank you.
And Terrence and Philip, who are just...
Your magic is impressive, young American. Not since Eric Von Thunderpants of Nova Scotia have we seen such prowess.
But now, you must learn to control your anus muscles in just the right way to change a spell's frequency.
Some objects seem too large to be damaged by magic, but now I will break through it with Nagasaki!
Yeah, they're amazing. You can't not love Terrence and Philip, they're the best. They're so cool. But anyway, they will teach you different techniques about fighting, which will have different impacts throughout the course of the game in terms of the environments, in being able to use them to clear pathways, or in combat, as they will have different effects and become more powerful as you go. The other abilities that you unlock throughout the course of the game are, again, not necessarily combat-based, but they allow you to traverse its world in different ways. So at the beginning of the game, you'll have access to your bow and your sword, so only areas that you can physically hit are accessible to you. However, during the course of the game, you'll also have access to the buddy function, which means that any character that you're with at the time, you can switch instantaneously between the different characters that are unlocked between you, so you can switch from Kenny to Butters, for instance. You can order them to undertake certain actions, to clear paths, or to progress the plot.
Ah, shit!
Your word is the command, my lord. Shall I heal the king, my lord? Or maybe let him suffer just a little bit more? Yes, sir! Here's your buddy.
His powers were too strong. The bard, he's up in one of the rooms. They took Princess Keene. They took her upstairs. I'm sure they're gonna rape her. Don't let them rape Princess Keene.
You also have access, again towards that part of the game, to be able to access your anal probe. You obtain while aboard an alien spaceship from the visitors that allows you to teleport between points that would have otherwise been inaccessible previously. The same goes for the magic gnomes who steal underpants.
Time to go to work, work all night, search for underpants, hey. We won't stop until we have underpants, yum tum yummy tum hey. Time to go to work all night, search for underpants, hey. We won't stop until we have underpants, yum tum yummy tum hey. Oh shit, he's awake! What? This kid is awake!
This particular level, for instance, is somewhat jarring. If you play it in Europe, you won't get to see it. I fortunately have seen the entire edit on YouTube, so I know exactly what happens in this section. I would recommend you go Google it, because if nothing else, it will make you go, what? It's really, really funny. But anyway, from them you learn the ability to be able to shrink down in size, to be able to, again, access different areas of every single part of the map, which again encourages you to not only traverse the world through once to find everything, but once you unlock these abilities, you can go back into the same areas and access places that you couldn't have done previously. Which means that even though the map is relatively small, and this is probably one of the strong / weak points of the game, it's difficult, it depends on your point of view. I personally think it's a strong point. The fact that you can traverse through the world and see different things in terms of when you come back to the game, when you come back to the world later on in the game, is great. It means that you can go back to parts of the map that you thought you'd explored thoroughly and find something completely new. And that's one of the game's strong points. It knows that it's inhibited in the scope of its world. It's South Park, it's a small little mountain town. So what are you going to do? You pack as much as you can into this relatively confined world as you possibly can, meaning that players, while they feel that they can explore, never feel constrained. They never feel like they're looking at the same thing because they're constantly looking for the next new little thing. Add to this the collectibles that are spread throughout the world. So the aforementioned Facebook friends, the Pokemon, which are really, really fun and cute to collect. And the little sound cues every time you collect them is really, really good. Just, yes, I found one. Facebook friends, they can be quite numerous, and then with the exception of that, the only other reason why I would suggest that you explore the world is for combat. You can encounter enemies on a fairly regular basis interspersed throughout the world, beginning with the elves, the competing faction of the elves. They'll just be hanging around and you'll be encouraged to wander past and you might get into a fight with them. Now, this is mediated somewhat by the fact that you can use your abilities in order to stun them prior to combat, so you never feel like they're becoming a hindrance. You can avoid them altogether if you want to, but by the same token, if you need to earn some extra XP, they're there, and they're relatively easy to conquer on a regular basis without expanding more effort, time, money and resources in order to gain that XP. Fun little neat little tidbits like Timmy's fast travel service is brilliant. I just use it sometimes just so I can hear the little thing. Timmy! So good. Also, you've got resources, so you collect money throughout the game to buy better weapons, armor, things of that nature, which is great. The customization is good at the beginning and becomes more varied throughout the course of the game, but you will find yourself favoring more powerful armor sets.
You entered douchebag, is that correct? Are you sure you want to keep the name douchebag? Very well, douchebag. You will now choose a class: fighter, mage, thief, or Jew. A fighter has courage, honor, and the ability to kick fucking ass. A mage is like a wizard, only not as cool. You look sneaky enough to be a thief. Jew, huh? So I guess we'll never really be friends.
Which is sad because they aren't inherently customizable. You can change the colour, but if you don't like the look of a particular armour set, but you're not willing to compromise in terms of its combat ability, you are going to be left in a certain situation whereby your character isn't going to look how you want him to look.
Right, so we need to know if Heidi Turner is the two-faced bitch who's spreading rumors about Allie being spotted at the abortion clinic. But in order to do that, we need people to think you're a girl. Makeover! Makeover! Strut your stuff, girlfriend! Oh, no, you didn't. I'll have to borrow that.
Overall, the gameplay feels very polished, very focused and oriented towards what it knows it needs to do, which is to make the game as immersive in its world as it possibly can be. And little things like the fact that you can't just fart out in the world on your own, you have to be able to... Little things like the fact that when you fart, you actually have to use the analog sticks, it's not just a button. So in the creator's words, you have to feel that fart coming out of your ass. It's, again, a thoughtful touch, which you can tell the creators in Obsidian tried their best to just squeeze every reference into the game as they possibly could to make sure that gamers understood that they were at the forefront of their minds as they were designing this game. And you have to give them credit for the way that overall it's been designed in terms of its combat, while simplistic yet functional, its presentation of the world, traversing through it with always something to do, always a character to talk to, always somewhere new to see, and the way that it allows you to progress as a player throughout the course of the game without inhibiting you to a certain extent. Yes, there are areas you can't explore straight away, but that only means that once you've explored a certain area, you progress the story, you come back. It's fantastic. And for that, I have to give the game solid props in just terms of its combat, its gameplay, and its overall interactivity with the player. The only other thing I would say is perhaps the menus bombard you with a bit too much information to begin with, and the controls between the farts and the abilities can be kind of cumbersome at times. You can flick between the two quite quickly by tapping the top buttons, cycling through them as quickly as you can, but especially when you're about to lead up to combat and let's say you want to stun somebody, it can be a little bit of a pain sometimes because then you might press the wrong button and all of a sudden you're at an immediate disadvantage.
Hey, there he is. New kid.
New kid, the Elf King has requested your presence. You can either come quietly or you can fight, but I warn you, fighting this fight at this point in the game is a complete waste of time and you might as well skip it and just come with us.
That said, relatively small gripe considering the wealth of attention that's been paid to its gameplay aspects. In terms of its presentation, this is probably the game's strongest suit.
The Stick of Truth has been stolen, and we must assemble our entire army in order to get it back.
But our 3 best warriors still haven't reported for duty, my king.
Our newest member can take care of that. Douchebag, I want you to go out into the neighborhood and find my greatest warriors, Token, Tweak, and Craig. I'm texting their pictures to your personal inventory device now. But beware, the lands outside are full of marauding drow elves, monsters, and 6th graders. Be sure you're well equipped. Now go, and send my warriors here.
It's hilarious! If you haven't played this game, watch someone play it. It's the one game where I might understand the idea of Let's Plays. I don't like Let's Plays. I've got to get that out off my chest. I did one. It was fun to do, but I don't get why anyone would watch it. No offense to those who did, and I appreciate the likes, favorites, and the subscribes. But as far as this game is concerned, man, is it just funny to watch. It's hilarious. The characters are exactly as they are in the show. The world you're in has the same nooks and crannies and twists and turns and unbelievable jumps of believability that you get in the television show. You feel like you're playing the series, a series of South Park, not just an episode. You feel like you're starting off a series whatever you want, and by the end of the game you feel like an integral part in the universe, which is a tremendous accomplishment for a game with such relatively simple controls and gameplay aspects.
We better figure out a way to stop Clyde or there won't be a world to fight in.
Even if we join forces, we don't have enough warriors.
So we recruit more factions to join us. The Pirates, the Federation, and the girls. The girls?
Kyle, the girls are not gonna fucking play with that.
The way that it does this is, well, number one, Trey Parker and Matt Stone had a creative influence on the game right from the get-go. They wrote it, they designed the animatics, they designed the cutscenes and developed them in-house at South Park Studios, and then it was left to Obsidian to implement that style and then create the gaming universe that we know by adding certain gameplay actions. Now, you can sometimes tell between the cutscenes, but it's... to say they're seamless is probably about right. The way that you sit neatly and nicely in the cutscenes, blending in perfectly, you never feel like you're just... it's this tremendous balance of feeling like you're watching a television show, but you feel completely involved in it at the same time. It's the most amazing achievement. The music and the presentation of its graphics blend perfectly to allow you this sense of you're part of the world. The musical cues in particular are excellent, going from subtle sort of, you know, very supple, I forget the word, but, you know, ting, 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 ting. It's just, you know, very gentle and calm. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're in combat, and it's an old school style, Game of Thrones style combat march. It's fantastic.
Use your magic on the front door, you said? It's too long, man! We're gonna die in this place!
Absolutely excellent. And then when the boss battles come along, you know, they're ramped up epically as well. It's brilliant.
More officers down! We're taking heavy casualties out here!
Damn it, you hallway monitors need to stop playing around!
He's got the brass key! He's some kind of dragonborn!
Now look, this is detention time, not time to play Dungeons and Dragons! And besides, he's never gonna get inside here because to open the door you need the gold key, and the only way to get the gold key is by getting the silver key. Okay, which even if he has the brass key, he still hasn't made it past the boss level. Okay?
That's far enough, intruder. Where's your hall pass? No hall pass? Then it's time to write you a referral.
Oh yeah, that's the boss. Good luck fighting the boss, okay? You still think this is a game, young man?
The segues in between story bits as well are really, really well designed. You feel every day pass as like it feels like it's a new episode of South Park as well. So you don't feel it both ways. You can hammer out an hour of session of this game if you want to, but just as well you can play 15 hours and treat it like a binge session of watching South Park series. It's really well executed and you can't praise it enough for being able to accomplish that. The sound effects are again very excellent. The differences in terms of the weapon designs mean that they all sound different, even apply differently. The farts. You can tell they spent a lot of time designing and fine-tuning that particular sound effect, but on the whole you have to give credit because again nothing really breaks immersion in this game. Nothing. There's nothing that doesn't feel genuine. There's nothing that doesn't feel 100% concerted towards making you feel like part of this world. And this isn't just reflected in the gameplay, the sound design and the presentation. The way that it presents its jokes to you is immensely satisfying as well. Interacting with the characters in the world, the way that they respond to you is a testament to the voice acting and the writing behind the game. Trey Parker and Matt Stone voice most of the characters in South Park. To varying degrees of success, you can sometimes tell whether or not it is. It's sometimes funny hearing them speak and you realise after a while that they're all just doing the same voices. But the weird thing is it never really has an impact. You kind of just buy the fact that everyone sounds vaguely the same in this small little mountain town.
Oh, Jesus, it's the bird!
Prepare for battle, weaklings. Elves, fall in. Douchebag! It's a trap! You should have never come here, humans. I am a level 10 bard, and with my loot, I shall power up my elven guards with magical songs of enchantment. With magical songs of enchantment. With magical songs of enchantment. Magical songs of enchantment. With magical songs of enchantment. Magical songs of enchantment. With magical songs of enchantment. Magical songs of enchantment.
But anyway, point being that the Easter eggs within the world as well help make you feel part of it. Like going into the rooms of the characters and seeing Easter eggs from the series. So if you go into Cartman's room, there's 1,000,001 different props, costumes, memorabilia from the previous episodes that you go, oh my god, I remember all of those things. It's fantastic. You go into Stan's room, Carl's room, you go to the public school.
Join the Kingdom of Koopa Keep to battle the wicked elves. All recruits welcome. Sorry, Frodo, we don't play Dungeons and Douchebags.
Yeah, beat it, new kid.
Oh, come on, let's do it. We never do anything.
No way. We can't do what this kid asks us to do. He's a conformist. Look at his clothes and his hair.
Yeah, tell you what, new kid. Get the right clothes and some cigarettes and coffee, and then talk to us again.
Yeah, if you want to prove you aren't a conformist, then you need to look exactly like we do. Then, maybe we'll consider hanging out with you.
you go to Jimbo's Guns, you go to the church, you go to everywhere that you've seen in the series, and that's probably one of the best things. Walking around the world and just finally getting to explore South Park, because in the game, it's all laid out, whereas in the series, you can tell that they kind of just design the place to look how they want to look. But you buy it. You buy the layout of the game because of how well it's been designed. And add on to that, the fact that each set piece, when it comes in, is so well executed and designed. As outlandish as the stories sometimes become, it's so impressive because there are some jokes that will hit the mark, and there are others that will leave you gaping with, I cannot believe they just did that. But unfortunately, that's how South Park has always been. You either buy that and get on board, or you jump right off and you stay off. And I'm one of the people that, even though I take issue with some of the jokes, because they do go over the line with no real reason behind it, you accept the fact that they don't do it just to piss off that person. They're 360 fuck you to everybody. They're equal opportunity offenders, and you gotta respect that. They don't pick on one group, they pick on everybody, because then comedy is equal, and it's implicitly unbiased towards anything. I think the one joke that probably sits worse with me in this game than any other joke, perhaps in the entirety of the series, with the exception of the Christmas Reeve placenta thing, whatever the hell that was. I don't know what Christopher Reeve ever did to piss off anybody there. But anyway, is right, there's a section where you go into an abortion clinic. Do I really need to say more? Yes? Okay, fine. You go into this abortion clinic, you, not only do you perform an abortion on Randy...
Shh! Nobody move! Oh, what's going on? I'm just here for an operation. Oh, there you are, Doctor. I'm ready when you are. Is this going to hurt, Doctor? Teehee? There's something fishy going on here. I think they might be Nazi zombies. We'll see if you're a real doctor. Give her an abortion. Do it! Oh, goodness!
Christmas time is once a year.
Mother!
Every critter holds it dear.
He did it! All right, so he is a real doctor. What the hell?
You then have to battle a virus that's spread throughout the course of South Park that causes anything it touches to become instantly a Nazi zombie.
I'm afraid so. When the alien waste reacts with organic material on Earth, it turns things into Nazi zombies. Here we go again. God damn it. I'm so tired of Nazi zombies. It's so overused.
This then leads into zombie rats, zombie soldiers, zombie doctors, which you can handle. You can handle it. I got no problem gunning down Nazi zombie anything. Until then you get to the Nazi zombie baby fetuses. Think about that one for a second, children. So you think it can't get any worse? You really think it can't get any worse? Wrong! Wrong! No. They pick on Kim Kardashian's, or one of the Kardashians, saying that they came in and had the largest abortion they've ever seen, and you then have to fight this Nazi zombie aborted fetus, which is just the most jarring thing.
Tell all units the outbreak has been contained! It's not contained! What the hell are you talking about? It's not contained! You don't understand! Khloe Kardashian was in here this morning. She had the biggest abortion I've ever seen.
I was so shocked. I could feel myself wanting to laugh, but I was so shocked I couldn't. And that's just one of them. They're just the one that stands out to me. There's others, like when there's a boss battle where you have to fight one of the magic gnomes underneath your in-game parents is doing the nasty on the beard, and the idea is that the boobs are swinging in the background, and all of a sudden a set of balls will swing out of nowhere, which you then have to dodge. Otherwise, you're going to get saddled bad by your in-game dad's bar sack. It's ridiculous. things, like you're traversing through the world. You'll go into a house thinking you can explore in there, and there's some weird ass shit going on. Some guy might be in a gimp mask with a donkey sticking his head at the other side, and you just run to the door, close it, and you're just supposed to go, okay, so I guess that happened. Nothing ever comes of it. So you have to take the rough with the smooth with South Park, and to be honest, with everything that they hit, occasionally they are going to miss and overstep the mark, but that's the point. If you don't like that kind of humour, then you really, even if you've never heard of South Park, you really need to stay away from this game. But if you have half a modicum of common sense and a bit of humility about yourself, you can sit back and just appreciate the humour.
Keep going, I think you're onto something. Oh, no, okay. Next time's gotta be the turn. Give it all you got.
This, again, added into the simplistic nature of the gameplay with the authenticity of the writing, direction, presentation, graphics, and sound, means that this game feels completely immersive, which is ultimately what they were aiming for. Which is why I enjoyed this game so much. It's fantastically good fun to play. Which brings us on to our last element, the story. I'll try not to spoil too much of it, because that's the reason why you'd play this game more than anything else. The gameplay is fine, but it's not what's going to keep you coming back. The story is what's going to keep you coming back, for the jokes and the humour. The fact that you feel like you're playing an interactive version of the game. So you begin as a new kid in South Park. No one knows who you are. Your parents, for some reason, have some slight apprehension about letting you into the world. Some undisclosed, mysterious reason.
So, you're the new kid everyone is talking about. What's your name?
He doesn't talk, Elf King. He thinks he's hot shit or something.
As you progress through the relatively early stage of the game, you encounter Butters. Butters then introduces you to the Kingdom of Cooper Keep, aka the KKK. Again, the humour's going to be hit and miss with you. That hit with me just for fucking how stupid it is. Anyway, you meet Cartman. He introduces you to the Stick of Truth, the aforementioned item that's the reason why the kids are playing in the first place. Whoever heard the stick control the universe. And as a result, the new kid joins. As the game progresses, there's back and forth in between whoever steals the stick. You learn more abilities in order to progress the plot, but then something happens. An alien ship kidnaps you. And abducts you, and you meet Randy aboard this ship. During the course of escaping, you cause it to crash, which then adds the next layer of a South Park TV show storyline on top. So you start off relatively minor, inoffensive, boys just being boys, occasionally swearing, but then all of a sudden the escalation starts, and all of a sudden you've got this green goop that's sipping into the world, and it turns things and creatures and everything into Nazi zombies. The government turns up and tries to cover it up by saying that the crashed alien ship is a Taco Bell that's being under construction, which is great, and it goes from there. Now, what's great about the story is that it adds these two elements and brings them back both full circle towards the end, meaning that it doesn't just feel like a weird segue into the main story. You're still pursuing the Stick of Truth throughout. It is this mystical object, and perhaps the most disappointing thing is that I know it's just a stick, and I get that the boys are just playing with it, but it would have been amazing to see what that stick could do in terms of game terms. That would have been great. It would have been amazing.
What does it do?
Whoever controls the stick controls the universe, dumbass.
Yeah, stupid.
Controls the... But then... I wouldn't have to do what I was told anymore. I could... I control the universe! Get back! Back, I say, all of you! I can do anything! Anything I want! I no longer need you, new kid! I control the universe!
But there's the occasional twist. The story is not... If you tried to guess how this story progressed from the get-go, you'd be wrong. I don't care how good you think you can predict South Park, you'd be absolutely 100% wrong in the way you think you can go. My particular favourite points of the story are the war between Cartman and Carl's factions is absolutely fantastic. I wasn't a big fan of the alien ship, despite the mini game with the anal probes on Randy, bless him. But my soft spot is when you have to go to Canada. You have a whole gameplay section devoted just to going to Canada, buddy. And I'm a massive fan of the Canadians. I love how they're a parody of South Park itself. They're a reflection of society's perception of South Park, and it shows in the way that they're all super simplistic, super gross. They all swear. They're crudely animated, and they're just hilarious. And exploring that aspect of the map and that world was really, really fun. Really tremendous fun for me. I spent probably a lot longer there than I should have.
I see you have a passport. All right, hand it over. Papers appear to be in order. Very well. I hereby grant thee access to the great nation of Canada. Open the gate! Oh, I'll do it. Hold on. There we go.
Anyway, the plot then progresses beyond that point, where the Nazi zombies start to become a prevalent force in South Park. Many cameos happen. You've got Jesus, Luke Kim, who runs the Shitty Whack. You've got Big Gay Al. You've got Mr. Slave, who has his own gameplay segment at some stage. I won't spoil what I mean by that, but suffice it to say, if you've ever seen the episode with Paris Hilton, you'll get where that trail of thought's going. Anyway,
Dad, where is the woman with the snook?
They didn't put it in a woman.
Well, all I remember was that there were these big government guys, and they wrestled me to the floor at my house. And then I remember thinking, well, this is fun, but wait, is that a thermonuclear device? I had some drinks, so putting a thermonuclear device up my ass wasn't completely out of the question. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you've got Mr. Slave, you've got all the parents, you've got all the virtually every character that's ever made an appearance in South Park, with even some of them becoming bosses. Shelley and Al Gore, between the two of them, actually start off as your friends, and you have to fight them later on as boss battles. It's really, really well done.
Over here! Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. It's me, Al Gore! You know, Al Gore, I'm super important. Alright, look, I've detected some very strange activity in this area. I believe we are dealing with Man-Bear Pig! Yes, the Man-Bear Pig. I know you're scared, but I need help. Take these and place them in the location specified on the Man-Bear map, Pig. And now I'm going to make you my friend on Facebook. This is very prestigious. You have my email now, but don't give it out to anybody. I'm super serial. Hurry! We must know if Man-Bear Pig is here or not.
And again, the climax of the game is satisfying, it's epic, it's built up tremendously well, and there's a theme throughout your tutorials that will give you some kind of hint as to what you will have to do at the end of the game if you've been paying attention. Seriously, don't ever do this, yeah, seriously. Then at the end of the game,
What? We're back to normal. We're cured!
You're all better now, Daddy.
That's right, son. The Dragonborn must have farted on a princess's balls.
The story is what keeps the game going forward, and that added on top of the satisfying gameplay, the progression of the RPG elements, the presentation of the graphics, the sound, the writing, and this story on top helped make this feel finally like the complete South Park gameplay experience that everyone has always wanted.
You guys sure about this?
There's no other way. It drove our friend to madness and nearly killed us all. guys want to play now? How about Dinosaur Hunters?
Or pharaohs and mummies?
Let's ask Douchebag. What do you want to play next, dude?
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Wow, what a dick.
In summary then, I think you've already got a pretty clear idea as to what I would say. I would definitely recommend, if you haven't played this game, if you kept on putting it off like I did, I only played this game for the first time about 2 months ago. I just kept on putting it off and off. I couldn't believe that it was as good as people were raving on about. It's everything that people have been raving about. It's a tremendous achievement of a game. Yes, there are games that have better gameplay. Yes, there are games that probably have a stronger story. But I'll be honest, there's never been a game based on a television show, movie, another game, or any other aspect of media that's so faithful to the source material and does such a good job of making you feel like part of its world, while also giving you everything you ever wanted in terms of its story and its world. It's the highest compliment I could possibly play this game. You feel like you're playing an episode of South Park. You feel like a character in South Park. And for that, you have to check this out. You absolutely owe it to yourself.
Back away from the desks, wizard fat ass!
You're a traitor, douchebag. How could you?
Because he knows who the cool kids are. Go ahead and kick Cartman's ass, new kid.
I brought you into the game. I made friends with you before anybody else would.
He doesn't want to play with cheaters.
I understand the elves have clouded your mind. Fight it, new kid. Come back to the light. Attack Kyle.
What are you waiting for, dude?
Punch him right in his smug little lying face.
Get him, new kid.
And while the replay value isn't great, I'm literally sitting here now, having played the game through. There's no enemies to fight, there's nothing more to collect. I have all the maxes, I have all the best armor sets, all the rest of it. Slightly disappointing, but then again, you can play the game through again. Some of it'll still be funny. It's like rewatching an episode of South Park or a series of South Park. It's still going to be funny. It just loses that shock factor a little bit. So maybe the replay value isn't there. But having recently seen E3, they've announced the Fractured but Whole, which is just looking absolutely amazing. So if it has a candle to this, if it holds anything like the same values, the same gameplay elements, the same strength of writing, then we're in for an absolute treat. If they can simply bump up the way that the combat flows, its satisfaction level, and its slight lack of repetitiveness in the way that you can employ tactics throughout the combat.
Why did we choose this life? Why did we become superheroes? We dedicate our lives to fighting crime for one reason: to make $1 billion on a superhero franchise. Now let's go through the plan one more time. First, we start with the Coon movie. Then we do the Super Craig movie. Then Super Craig and Coon will join forces in the Human Kite movie, just as we start ramping up Kenny's Netflix series.
How come I have to have the Netflix series? I want a movie too.
You have a movie, Mysterion. You're in the third Coon and Friends United movie, after your Netflix series.
Yeah, but he's saying he doesn't ever get his own movie.
Do I get my own movie? Not everyone gets their own movie.
This franchise plan sucks! If we want to make billions of dollars, then I think we should start with the Tupperware movie.
Right, start with a black superhero.
Marvel is making a black superhero movie.
Yeah, now! They waited years to get to that. We follow their plan. We do all the real people first, and we sneak the black guy in phase 3.
How about we just do movies starring all of us, like all the time? But then we're just rehashing the same old material.
There's nothing wrong with doing the exact same movie to start a franchise.
Okay, J.J. Abrams.
Okay, so you're on Cartman's side?
He just likes this plan because he gets 2 movies in phase 1.
God! We have to just go with this plan. We don't even have one movie yet.
How did it get to this? How did we grow so far apart?
You go with the plan. Maybe we'll just go and do our own franchise.
Yeah!
Oh, you want Civil War? Is that what you want? Yeah, dude, it's Civil War. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you. Get out of my house.
We'll make way more money on our franchise.
Go ahead. I bet you don't even get halfway through phase 1 on your franchise, DC Comics.
I thought Civil War wasn't supposed to happen until phase 3.
Shut up, Super Craig. I didn't want to have to do this, but you leave me no choice.
Did I just hear someone use a microaggression?
Definitely go pick this up. If not, wait for the Fractured But Whole to be released, because this is going to be released free alongside it So play this first and then jump straight into the fractured butthole. I can't keep saying that enough because that's hilarious. The fractured butthole, and experience the pair of them side by side. The humour, the myriad of different options within the game, and yes, some of the slightly stronger pieces of humour that are going to leave you questioning whether or not you're a good human being if you laugh at them. Man, buy this game, check this game, borrow it, whatever you have to do. Absolutely 100% recommend it. Couldn't give a higher recommendation for this game. However, if you consider yourself a decent human being or you are easily offended, and I mean easily offended, because if you're easily offended, maybe give this one a miss. Maybe go play something else. I hear Minecraft isn't very offensive. I've never played it. Yes, I've never played Minecraft. Deal with it.
Fine, you wanna throw down, bro?
In the meantime, thanks again for watching. Take care. Hello and thank you so much for watching this episode. The next episode is going to be dropping very soon. It's going to be on the Fable Anniversary Edition, a game that I love so much. But not only that, I'm going to be comparing and contrasting it to another RPG that I hold very dear to my heart, Knights of the Old Republic, and saying to myself, finally answering the question, which of the two do I prefer? In any event, please check out any of the other videos that I've produced over the last couple of weeks. Please be sure to give Blink a try. Only a few people have. I finally acquiesced. They're only 2 minutes long, people. Give them a watch and let me know which one you want me to convert into an actual real video. If not, leave a comment, leave a suggestion so I can start reviewing things or formatting things in a way that's slightly more palatable. But in any event, I'd also recommend you check out my good friend Robert, his channel. He's starting up very soon. He's got some really interesting ideas, so I definitely think you should sub to his channel and check him out. I'll put a link in the description. In any event, thank you again so much for watching. Everyone who's been watching and listening to the podcast as well, it's greatly appreciated. But again, leave your comments, leave your suggestions as to what you should talk about. Come appear on the show. I'd love to get some more guest hosts on here. Brian, Mickey B, Rob, all of them should be making reappearances at some stage in the future. Just need to sort out when and what sort of contents we're going to be talking about. In the meantime, thanks so much again for watching, and you guys take care.